Hey everybody, I'm AskJoshy.
And I'm Frank Fields.
And we're going to be continuing our card reviews for Magic the Gathering. The new set called Gatecrash is coming, pre-release is January 26th. The set actually comes out in February, but lots of cards are being spoiled right now. If you go to magicspoiler.com or the Magic subreddit, which is r/magictcg, you can keep up with us there or actually get ahead of us and just look at all the cards yourself. But this is a little discussion show. We're going to be talking about the different mechanics of the new Gatecrash guilds, and this one is Treasury Thrull. Is that right? Treasury Thrull? Yep. Okay. And he is the Orzhov. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Orzhov?
Orzhov.
It's got an H though, so I'm curious.
I don't know.
I think it's Orzhov.
I'll have to get the official...
Alright. Well, let us know in the comments if you actually know what it is. But anyway, it's a 6-mana creature. It's 1 white, 1 black, and 4 colorless mana. He's a 4/4 body. Doesn't have anything crazy as far as first strike, flying, trample, none of that. It's just a 4/4 dude. But he does have Extort.
Yeah, Extort is the new mechanic where you can pay whenever you cast a spell, you can pay a black or white mana, and you make each other opponent lose 1 life, and you gain life for everything that is damaged. So this obviously has very huge ramifications in all formats, but especially in Commander, because it damages all of the opponents and not just one target opponent. So it also doesn't have to target the opponents in order to make them lose the life, and you'll gain, obviously, you know, however many opponents there are in your EDH game, you're going to gain that much more life. So it's a pretty ridiculous mechanic in that aspect.
That's true. And EDH 4-player games, if you've got 3 or 4 Extort creatures out, you pay like a 1-mana spell and extort it 3 or 4 times, you're gaining just huge amounts of life.
Yeah, so obviously multiple instances of Extort do stack. So if you have 3 creatures with Extort on the battlefield, you can pay 3 mana and get triple the effect of the Extort, which is pretty incredible when you think about, you know, how many Extort mechanics there might be in the set.
Right, so Extort is the Orzhov mechanic. That's all the black-white guild. A lot of creatures will be having Extort. It's possible that an enchantment or artifact or something like that could have it as well. You know, we've seen things like that before. So the other cool thing about Treasury Thrull himself, now that we've finished talking about the mechanic, is that whenever Treasury Thrull attacks, you may return target artifact, creature, or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. So you're basically resurrecting something back to your hand every time he attacks. Not every time he does damage, but every time you just swing with it.
Yeah, obviously this doesn't have as many ramifications in Standard, but in Limited, getting creatures back from your graveyard to your hand is incredible because, you know, everyone knows you're not consistently just going to draw creatures off the top of your deck in Limited. You're going to be drawing lands, and being able to get something back, even if Treasury Thrull dies, if you have something worthwhile in your bin that you want to grab, it's definitely worth it to attack in sometimes. So very, very good limited ability.
Strong enchantments can really change the game too.
Yes.
So let's say in our first game, I've got some super strong enchantment. You manage, or you lose to it. Let's say.
Like think of Righteous Authority, for instance.
And then because we don't know what's going to be.
Yeah, we don't know what's in it.
But if game 2 you sideboard in some anti-enchantment, something like that, and nuke it, and then I get a Treasury Thrull out and can bring it back. Just that's going to help you win so many times in limited because you're not going to have multiple.
No, you don't have 3 or 4 enchantment removals. Even in Standard, you don't have that. You're definitely not going to have it in Limited. So I mean, being able to get something back like that is incredible. Yeah.
So in Limited, I'll go ahead and give it a 3.5. I think it's not quite as bomb-y as Firemane Avenger, for example. But I mean, you know, you do have to get him in play. You do have to actually do some stuff with him. He's not like an amazing damage dealer. Extort is nice if you can just leave him there as a body and cast a lot of spells. You could possibly extort quite a lot of life away from your opponent in combination with a bunch of other Extort stuff. Obviously he's good. He's a 4/4, so you know there's not a ton of removal that kills a 4/4 on its own. So you're at least making them use cards to try and get rid of it if they're going to do that. And it has a nice ability, but I don't think it's gonna quite, you know, swing for the fences as often as a Firemane Avenger or even really Rebel Hulk with that kind of Blood Rush ability, but I like it. I'll still take it, obviously, if I'm in those colors. In Constructed, I just probably not useful. Yeah,
in Constructed, I don't think you're ever going to see it make play. It's like a 1. I mean, there's just way better stuff, including a lot of the other Orzhov cards that we've seen are much more likely to see Constructed play. In Limited, however, it's definitely at least 3/5. Depending on what other, if you get like other bombs or really good enchantment, it might go up higher from that point. And for most of the time, they're definitely bigger creatures. A lot of times you're just going to want to sit there, leave them as a blocker, and then just extort people to death with them is more likely how it'll be used than necessarily attacking in. Unless, you do get a pretty big enchantment, and then you might swing in with them. But yeah, just kind of a big blocker of a body with a pretty cool ability is what he'll end up being.
Yep, I think it's interesting. I really do want to see if there's any cheap Orzhov spells that kind of go along with extort. Maybe like Sign in Blood.
Yeah, something similar to that.
Or, what is it? They lose 2 life, you gain 2 life. Is that Sign in Blood?
No, Sign in Blood cards, right? Card.
Not like Sign in Blood. I'm thinking about life drain abilities that Black has, but Orzhov, we haven't seen all the cards printed. If they have a lot of spells that are also draining life, that'll be really nice in conjunction with those extort cards.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for Treasury Thrull. That is the 4th card that we reviewed so far. We still got 1 guild left, so check out our next video to see what the Dimir spoiled card is going to be.
Alright guys, see you next time.